Welcome to MetalKaoz. I'm Dimitris from Chicago. How are you today?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm fine, a little bit tired. I have a kid who wakes me up 6 o'clock since 6 back every morning. So I get a little tired, when it's getting later here. But I'm happy to talk to you, and I feel good. Just got the vinyl the other day and listened to it, and it
I'm jealous.
sounds really good. I'm very happy about that.
I'm happy that you mentioned your son, because at the end credits of the video, I See You Better in the Dark. You have him as best boy, right?
Yeah, he was best boy. He was was doing more damage than help, but no, it was good. He helped us.
I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. So Avatarium like to change things up in every album. At least that's the press release, what the press release is saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't understand, because I'm not a musician, right? Mm-hmm. How do you do that? Because you cannot control inspiration. You cannot, or even plan the inspiration.
You can. It's a good question, but you don't. You usually, it's like. I know Daniel Lanois once said it's like when you walk up like a hill and you climb the mountain or whatever it is, and then when you're up there, the only way to go to another mountain is you have to go down again and then up again. And it's a little bit like that, you have to find a new way of approaching music and new inspiration, and so I think it's. I think my personality is also that I get, if I do the same thing all over again, I get bored. So
that I understand. Yeah. Yes.
So it's and music is like you're searching for something. You're trying to, you feel something, and you want to try to understand what it is you feel. And you write music and you play music, and all of a sudden something happens that touches you or whatever, and that's, I think that's so you're aiming for different things, like in life. You don't want to read the same book all over again, or this kind of thing. So and it's like a relationship. You try to, relationship, you try to get to know the other person, and you both hopefully grow together and inspire each other. So I think
right. And that sounds easy on paper, but it's not nothing that you can plan for. For example, you and Jennie-Ann, right? You have a life together. So I had in my notes to ask, how do you switch between being live together, if that's even possible, to go in the studio and start creating music, and at the same time, maybe in some way criticize the others, saying, hey, your vocals or your riffs or your piano melodies are not, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally. It's not, when we start to write music together, it's not, what you want to hear from your wife is like, oh, I don't like that idea. I don't like how the guitar sounds there. It's like, So, but it's also a good way to learn to be humble, and to learn to aim for what's best for the song, and I think it helped us to be better also as parents, actually, and as a couple, because we need to work together and have to learn how to learn, to do that.
Yeah, and honestly, I would expect from the people that I have closer to me to be more honest, rather than sugarcoating something. Tell me if this is what I'm doing is wrong. Please tell me. Don't let me.
And that's true. And in music, you can hear, because when we are being honest with each other, then the music becomes really good. And when we're not totally honest, then Then it all, these things that you didn't like from the start, it stays like that.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of getting the good side of being honest with each other.
Oh yes.
So
Oh
yeah,
yes.
so I'm happy about that, really.
For the music making side of things, again in the press release it says that you start using more the piano.
Yeah, it's we brought Jennie-Ann has an old piano that's been sitting on the West Coast where she grew up, and it had to travel this 500 kilometers from the West Coast to the East Coast, Stockholm, and then I took it in and I had got it renovated and fixed up and everything. It's a nice little piano. It sounds great. It's from the 50s. It says made in Western Germany, so it's from the 50s. It's from another time. It sounds very nice, and I started to play piano every day, and I started to listen to the piano sonatas from Beethoven a lot, which I still do, and I got very inspired by the piano. And so there's a lot of piano stuff, that's written on the piano, but also translated well to playing, on electric guitar as riffs. And a lot of people say, they say it's like, oh, you can't write great riffs on piano. You have to have electric guitar. So I was like, okay, let's see. So a lot of the riffs are actually written on piano.
That's interesting because the funny side of this question was, how do you write great doom riffs with a piano?
Yeah, but it's, of course, a guitar player, when I plug in my guitar in the Marshall, my SG, low tune and everything, of course, then things happens. Inspired by the sound. So some of the really heavy riffs and of course are written on guitar, but it's also I think it makes this album richer because it has this almost classical inspiration here and there, and it makes I think that was a good way to get some fresh air in this album.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the final song between You, God, the Devil, and the Dead.
Yeah.
Where I think in the beginning I hear the actual sounds of the piano, not as you strike the keys, right? But I hear the sound of the wood, maybe, or the pedals. Is it?
Yeah, that's true. So it's because we recorded that quite early, and and so you can hear some of the squeaks and stuff on it. It's a little bit quieter now, but it's it's also nice. It's charming. You can hear it. You have good ears.
So I'm wondering if you follow the same, I want to say analog, but I have no idea about music recordings. So how organic, let's say, was the recording of the album?
It is. I'm very much into the organic ways. I have old Marshalls. I have a Marshall from 1973 that's been used a lot, and a little newer one from 83. It's only 41 years old. And and of course a lot of great amps. I have Swedish amps. I have a Olsson amp, a Swedish guy who makes fantastic boutique amps. But I'm mainly a Marshall guy. So I like real amps. I like real guitars. When we record keyboards, we try to, use real keyboards. So it's not much. Most is made outside of the computer. The computer is mainly like a tape recorder, like a recording device. So that's how I approach it. But of course, we use the computer as well, and like you do. But I try to think of it as a recording machine more than something we have to we should edit or look and do all these kind of things.
Did you use a Hammond organ? Because I swear I hear it until forever and again.
Yeah, Richard Nilsson is playing Hammond on the album, and he's a brilliant. he's such a fantastic keyboard player. So, but I play quite much piano actually on the album myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And because we write the music and then we record it and then it's there and then it's like okay. So, yeah.
So how long would you say you have been working? You worked on the album.
I think we worked for like 1.5 years. But we have the schedule. Avatarium is not our full-time job, so me and Jennie-Ann, we have 2 days a week scheduled when we do an album, and then of course we put in more time and weekends or whatever. But that's the 2 days a week is like work. We go to work, and that's also one thing when you ask me about being wife and husband and musicians. I think it's somehow we managed to. We don't talk that much about music when we're in the family life. We listen to music and we talk about a lot of the music we hear.
Okay.
But when we work, that's when we work with the songs and do all this kind of thing. Of course, we mention stuff. It's not forbidden, but it's so sometimes my bandmates, they ask me like, okay, what about this thing? Something that is related to the band, and I'm like, I don't know. I haven't had the time to talk to Jennie-Ann about it because we're so busy with the kid and a lot of other stuff.
And that's reality. That's not.
But don't you live together? Yeah, but have thousands of other things as well to try to solve.
Of course,
so,
of course.
Quite good, to okay. Now we write music, and of course we have these 2 days. But I'm sitting in every day in the studio, and I record ideas, and I have ideas, and Jennie-Ann is sitting by herself sometimes with a guitar or a piano, whatever, and we're writing lyrics, and so it's of course it's some it's a thing that's going on, of course, while you're recording an album.
Yeah.
When a kid was really small, we were the Fire Long for that album. I was walking with a stroller and writing riffs, recording riffs, in my phone, singing riffs, while walking with my kid on the stroller. So yeah, it's different ways to skin a cat,
Of course. And now that you mentioned the other band members, what was their contribution in the album?
I would say Habo, our drummer, Andreas Habo Johansson, he was very involved in this process. And one of the things I asked him was like, I want you to play a lot on this album. I want a lot of drums. And he's a very musical guy. So of course he's like into the serve the song. Is that kind of musician, but he has so much technique and he has so much musical knowledge. So he was very involved with both arrangements and the mixing process and giving me a lot of feedback. And so I would say he was very important. And then Mats Rydström, he's coming and listening and playing bass, and he's quite involved. And then we had Rickard Nilsson, keyboard player, and he came in like when the album was almost done, and I felt like, okay, I need him because he's my old friend and he played on several albums, and I need someone more, I need his touch on this because he's working with me with Candlemass and a lot of different things, and he's a brilliant musician. He's the kind of guy who just can put some stuff in and make a song,
So I'm glad that you mentioned the drums. So what do I hear in the beginning of notes? Especially in the beginning, but I think it goes on for the rest of the track. Notes from the underground. What is that drum instrument?
It's a darbuka, I think. I hope I don't not telling you wrong.
There is a Greek version from that for that, and I didn't want to use that because I didn't know the specifics. But whose idea was to bring that in that track?
I think it was my idea. I'm not sure, me or the drummer Habo. I can't, because I wanted a little, like Latin kind of vibe or whatever. But and Habo played that book on another instrumental song that I once did. when I did a solo album like 12 years ago. It's called Ela Marna, Ruins of Akhenaten, Ruins of Akhenaten, and he played that, and I love the way he did it. And Harbo, he's a great percussionist as well. You know, he's doing a lot of. He's working, you know, as a percussionist in Sweden. He's playing on TV shows and stuff. You know, playing percussion. So he's not just a great drummer; he's also a fantastic percussionist.
So that specific track, did you intend to write it as an instrumental from the beginning?
Yeah, it was. That's how it was supposed to be. I wanted to do. It was actually one of the last things we did, and we had, okay, I want the album to not be more than 44 minutes because I wanted to sound great on vinyl. Right. So we had like, okay, we can fill up like 4 minutes or something here, 3-4 minutes. So I had to make something that wasn't too long, and I had this idea, also written on the piano. I think the first riff, the second riff is written on guitar, and yeah, it's just, you know, I trying to do something that appealed to me.
So, how do you find a title for an instrumental track?
This is, you know, I don't know if you know, but it's a book with that name from Dostoevsky. I read that book quite recently, and yeah, I thought it was a good title for that track.
Okay, fair enough.
And I also thought maybe someone would read the book. And it's also double, you know, it can be funny because it's notes from the underground. It can also be like tones, you know.
Jokes aside, I think people are not reading as much as they did.
That's true, and but I hope they will start doing that, because reading, fantastic thing, and I think it's important for us to do that.
I totally agree. And if we extend this to the music, I have been complaining, quote unquote, about this. I don't think metalheads are actually paying attention to the lyrics. You know, you have a couple of songs to hear in your smartphone, and then that's about it. Because I believe in Avatarium, lyrics are very important. And I know that Jennie is a psychotherapist.
Yes.
So how much do you guys discuss the lyrics before putting the pen on paper?
We discuss it. Jennie-Ann comes in with lyrics and some rough lyrics and some ideas, and we talk about it. And but she's she writes the lyrics. Sometimes I can come in with like a little suggestion, or like I can ask her, what do you mean with this? And then we can find find out, we talk about it quite much, because I'm also interested in lyrics.
Mm-hmm. You write lyrics too, after all, yeah.
A little bit, but not for Avatarium.
Okay.
But I'm interested in lyrics, and lyrics has two meanings. It has to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. It has to sound good, because words are sounds, so it has to be, it has to sound good with the music. But of course, you want to have some kind of meaning as well.
Yeah, to say something. Yeah.
Both these things together, then a lyric becomes really good. That's, to me, that's when you write lyrics to music. It has to be musical. It has to sit in the music.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's just, then it can be maybe poetry or whatever. But if it's going to sit in a song, it has to.
Yeah. And it's interesting to note that album by album, the song titles get longer.
Someone said that. We're like, okay, everybody will hate you for having the longest title on this.
Oh, why? Come on.
Oh, I don't know. No, I want to journal because it's hard to write and blah blah blah. That's what I was joking, I guess. But I don't know. It's a good title. I mean, it's interesting. The secrets we keep. Between you, God, the devil, and the dead. What is that? We have. Secrets, and that we might be afraid to talk about, or memories that haunt us,
Past trauma, right?
Excuse me?
Trauma. We may have some. Yeah.
Exactly. And we have a lot of things, that we experienced earlier in life that drags us down.
Yeah.
And to me, that's really important to not let that happen. And I think, the devil, he wants us to think of all these, old shitty things we've done or that happened to us, either feel sorry for ourselves or feel ashamed of ourselves. So that's a bad energy. If you believe in spirits, and good and bad spirits, I think that's the spirits of the bad energy. These spirits, they want us to feel bad and feel ashamed and all these kind of things. But if we can let go of these things and forgive other people and forgive ourselves, then we can be alive in a total other way. That's my take on this. But
it's the only difference in this thinking I may have with you is that I believe all these things are internally. We have them inside us, so it's difficult to take all this negative stuff and to fight those, because that's our one side. We have both sides, the negative and the positive.
Totally. And you call it, you can call it whatever you want.
Sure.
You can call it evil spirits and good spirits here,
Mm-hmm.
You can call it whatever you want. It's still energies. This is a good energy. This is a bad energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever you call it, like if you follow the good energy, if you follow that, the loving good energy, then you will then you will end up in a better place than if you follow the selfish and negative energy. So in one way, if you say spirits, evil spirits, or if you say the devil, it's just a way of trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah. Although I would like to add here that I would love to believe that there were good and bad spirits. Why? Yeah. Because it's easier to fight someone else rather than fight yourself.
But even if there are, even if you started to believe in it, then it's still okay. If a bad spirit tells you something,
mm-hmm.
that's like, then you have to still have to choose if you're going to listen to it or not listen to it. And what I think is, if you think that when you have a like mean thought or
negative thought,
and if you think that's me, oh, I'm so negative, I'm so bad, I'm so mean, why am I like this? If you think like that, then you're a little bit screwed. I'm being attacked, and you try to push it away. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to you. That's another. Then you can take it on another level, because you're under attack. Even what you believe in, you're still under attack of negative energy. And energies are around us.
Oh yeah.
So when we think like a vicious thought or something, it's not. It doesn't have to be me. It's not that I'm the most horrible person in the world. It's that I'm a human being, and sometimes I'm being attacked. So I think it's a good way to try to. You have to push these negative energies away, and then what you call it, that's another thing. But it's not you you're not a horrible person, and I'm not a horrible person, but we are humans, and we have all these selfish, egoistic things in us.
Yes.
And we have to fight these things, and we don't understand exactly where they come from. That's what we're trying to understand when we talk about spirits, for example.
I like this point of view. Let me think about it, because
put it in your pipe and smoke it for a while. Maybe.
Well, it may make more sense.
Expression suits this. I don't know. I'm not that good in English, but
however, I like how you described this process, and specifically for that song, you had the music video between you, God, and the Devil and the Dead, and you start with someone looking down, right, and being black and white. So as the song progresses, the color comes back, and in the end, that person is looking up, and I think he's smiling.
Yeah.
So first of all, is this doom metal with a positive twist at the end?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, we're trying to, you know, how dark it even how dark it is, we're always trying to have some hope and light in our music. And you know, for me, a way of being alive is knowing that there are darkness and there are death, and we will not live forever. But when I think about death, then I'm get more concerned about living the best life I can, being the best person I can, and you know, do the best I can in different ways. So yeah, so I would say we try to bring in a little positive vibe in the doom scene.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what you described, we end up to realize that after something really bad happens to our lives.
Yeah.
Then we say, I hope I should have been paying more attention to my daily life and not struggling with work, with other stuff. But it's extremely difficult to achieve. Okay. And this is why we have music, right? It's kind of therapy for us.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think it's extremely important to try to think about that. As you know, mindfulness, where you talk about these things when you try to be aware of. And I'm trying to bring that in my life, and it's hard, but I've started quite recently to try to be thankful, you know, for everything. You know, just a moment when I'm whatever, it can be whatever. I'm having a walk when the sun is shining. I'm like, wow, thank you. I'm alive. You know,
I need to work on that, man. I need.
Yeah. Me too. Be quite the opposite quite often. So
quite or usually anyhow this is a very long discussion, and I hope someone comes up with a solution. I don't know, take a pill and be thankful.
Yeah, a lot of people tries that. I don't believe in the pills.
Of course you don't, and because whatever you can gain from that, it's only for a specific period of time. Then you are again where you started from, or even worse.
Exactly.
I wish that we had a switch. Let's put it that way.
Excuse me?
I wish we had a switch that we can turn on and turn off.
Switch, yeah. But, you know, maybe, you know, life, you know, everything that's important in life takes some kind of struggle. You know, it's like, if you want to have muscles, you have to go to the gym and lift weights.
Correct.
If you want to, you know, get smarter, you have to read, you have to, you know, do math, you have to do things that is hard. If you want to try to be happy, if you want to feel deep happiness and peace, of course you have to go through struggles. That's also, you know, like lifting weights for your soul, I would say, and try to learn to face these things and make the best out of it. I think so.
No, you're right. You need to train your mind to change the perception, the way you look at things, the way you feel things. But gym is easier. I can lift weights, right? It's straightforward, let's say.
But it's much more boring.
I agree. Okay. Love how this discussion evolved.
Yeah.
What about playing live? What are the plans?
Hopefully, we can play some live. We're going to do some festivals this summer. I think we have quite many already for next summer. But it's in Europe. Everything is in Europe, and you know, we have, as mentioned, we have a 6-year-old kid, so it's hard for us to tour for a long time. Of course, but we will try to make shows. but I think we want to tour for a while, but try to make shows, and then in some years, when he's a little bit older, it will of course be easier to go on tour again.
So it will take more years to cross the Atlantic and into North America?
Maybe, hopefully not. I would really love to come to America. You know, we work a lot together with Candlemass, for example. They go over quite often now.
Mm-hmm.
Do something together with them in the future, or whatever. You know, that would be fantastic. I really hope so. I was only in Chicago once. You were in Chicago, right?
Yes.
And I would love to go there again. And so we would love to do that, of course.
That would be awesome.
We'll see. Hopefully, you know, we love to play music. This album is actually written. One of the reasons there is a lot of riffs and stuff on this album is that I wanted to make an album that was fun to play live.
Mm.
And I love to play heavy riffs, you know, a loud guitar with a great sound, heavy riffs. That's when I feel alive. I love that. So a lot of the songs on this album has that, and so of course we want to play the songs live.
Yeah, because it really matters when you feel, you know, the volume hitting on your chest, right? It makes a whole difference.
Yes,
live. So yeah.
Back when you play a guitar extremely loud, it's trying to tame a wild horse.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much energy going on, and you have to, you know, control it. That's
Last
fun.
Question. Anything from the Doomsday Kingdom? Since you mentioned Candlemass and Leaf, you know how that goes.
Yeah. Nothing planned at the moment, but you know, Leif he's you know, he's like my older brother, and he's been extremely important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he asks me to do something, I'm totally there. You know, I love to work with him, so that would be fantastic, of course.
Well,
maybe
let's bring Avatarium, Candlemass, and the Doomsday Kingdom in Chicago in one for a show, right?
That would be great.
Marcus, thank you very much for your time. I loved our discussion, not only about music, but the other stuff that we put in.
Yeah. What do you say? Side steps, or what do you say?
Yes, and please give Jennie my best regards.
Will.
And I don't know, hopefully we'll see you guys here live on stage.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And thank you very much for your time. And it's a pleasure to talk to you. It was really
Absolutely.
nice.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.